Hello everyone, my name is Brett and welcome to a special edition of TopoRanger. I am entering the final phase here in the house, and while I'm in and out over the course of the next week or two, I figured maybe I should make some videos. And today I want to make, I guess this would be an in-studio episode. I want to make a video about a rescue that happened 2 months ago in the Susquehanna River. And it was interesting because essentially you had two men fishing down by the Holtwood Dam, and for whatever reason, they beat each other up. One of them then took off, and the other one had to be rescued. He had to be taken out via a helicopter. So it's, I don't know, it struck me at the time. I saw it a couple days after it happened, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty unique situation here. I've never seen a story where two people are actually fighting in the middle of the river. And you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And it just so happens that this rescue took place in an area where we've been to quite a bit. We've made a whole bunch of videos down in this exact spot. Let's get started. Fight between two men injures one, prompting chopper rescue on the Susquehanna River. Now, this article was posted on May the 14th. Lancaster County, PA, rescue crews were called into action to help a man injured after a fight on an island in Lancaster County on Thursday. Dispatchers confirmed the call came in around 11:42 a.m. for an injured person on an island south of the Holtwood Dam in Mardick Township. Maryland State Police Aviation Command was called to the scene to hoist a patient who had reportedly been assaulted on Piney Island and could not be rescued by boat or land. First thing I want to say is they are saying this is Piney Island. Here's the Holtwood Dam. The actual location of the rescue, which you will see here in a second. We got some videos and also some pics. The rescue was right here. They got the guy from right here. Okay. And in the article and in other articles, they are listing this as Piney Island. My understanding is that this is Piney Island. It's even labeled like that. This is Piney Island, and you're not really allowed to go on Piney Island, I think, at all. This is Fry Island right here. You see this piece right here? We have been here several times. I think I made some videos there, maybe as recently as last summer. So I would say that this person was not on Piney Island. They were on Fry Island right here. York County Emergency Management spokesman Ted Check told CBS 21 that a man was injured after a fight broke out with another man on the island. One of the things they had to do was, I think what happened is they tried to come in here first, right? And maybe they couldn't get up this way. Then they tried to put a boat in, according to another article I read. They tried to put a boat in somewhere around here because I think they get access to the river down through this area. This is the power station here. And they tried to get over here and they couldn't do it like that. So they then called in crews from York County. In a Facebook post on Friday, Rawlinsville Volunteer Fire Company, shout outs to all these rescue workers. You know what I mean? That's another reason I want to make this video, is just to say, to thank you to all those people who do stuff like this, right? You go out, you have fun on the river. I was thinking the other day, there's up and down the river, how many thousands and thousands of people every day are recreating. And, some of them get into situations, part of the reason people go out on the river and feel pretty comfortable is because they know there's people out there. Most likely there's people that will come and rescue them. So this video is dedicated to all of the rescue people out there who do this. And we're going to see some of them today in action with the Maryland helicopter. During the rescue, rescuers made their way to the York County side of the dam, the power plant, and the Muddy Creek boat access. Some hiked across the river from the York side, while others also tried to make it to the patient, the post said. So right here is where the person was, okay? Right here, as you can see, this is the access that gets you down to the Whitewater Park, which is right here. And that means the people involved in this rescue would have had to have gone across this area here. Now, I've done several videos here. I call this Rubble Road. And this is very uneven, giant boulders left over from an old construction bridge that was blown up at one point. You can see that there's a little piece of it right there. That's the last remaining piece of the construction bridge. It used to go the whole way across. Okay. So some of them came this way. And according to one of the articles I read, one of the rescuers actually became exhausted and had a medical condition, and they actually had to be rescued themselves. Once crews made it to the patient, it was determined that they would need to be flown out due to the difficult terrain. Eventually, the patient was flown to York Hospital. Now, this picture here, okay, that's Conestoga Fire, right? So this is the Lancaster side. Rescue, and I want these pictures. I want to show you these pictures. Rescuers using a boat to make it to an injured person on an island by the Holtwood Dam on Thursday. I think that this picture was perhaps taken right here. And I don't think you can get from here over to there. I don't think there's any way to go across there unless they have a secret little tunnel there, which I don't know if they do. There's another one that crosses right here. You see that? And that one we actually have been in a video. There is another series of those floats there. So maybe I don't think so. I think this, judging by these rocks and where the trees are, where the tree line is, I think that was taken over there. So if they tried to get him from over here, chances are they couldn't get there. So they sent people over this way. And there's a shot of the Maryland helicopter that came from Maryland. There's the guy right there. He's in the bag. There's the power plant behind, flying away. There it is. Actually, I have a better picture of that. Now, what happened to the rescue person who was then had to be rescued themselves, I think what they did with that was, instead of taking them the whole way back across this section, the whole way over to here, okay, and the the ambulance could have gotten probably to here. So let's go ahead and measure that, right? You're going to have to go up to here. Then you're going to have to go the whole way out to here. That's about 2,200 feet. So almost half a mile of very difficult terrain, right? So instead of taking the injured rescue worker, I guess they put him on a litter or whatever, which would have taken forever. It would have been exhausting and also dangerous too, because there's a good chance you could fall over while you're doing that. I think what they did, and what I read in another article, was they actually took this boat. They used the boat, perhaps, that they originally set out here to try to get the victim who was here. And then they somehow took the rescue worker in the boat and they wound up carrying him. See, you can't really see it here, but I think that person was then carried out along here, which is this area right here. You can basically walk out, if you're doing maintenance and stuff like that. So that's just, I thought that was crazy. This is an article from the York Daily Record about the same incident, where they list all the people that were involved. So I just want to read them all out. Personnel from Southern York County EMS, Rawlinsville Volunteer Fire Company, Penn Medicine, Blue Rock Fire Rescue, and Conestoga Fire Department. That was that boat that we saw, according to Maryland State Police Aviation Command. I wanted to show a better picture of the actual the helicopter that was used, the Maryland State Police chopper. How cool was that? And here's another look at it when it's in some type of a building here. That's a fine looking machine though, right? So this video is from the Rawlinsville Volunteer Fire Company. I think they would have had to have shot this. Let's see. It looks like basically whoever shot this video would have been right about here, looking that way. The level of the river here, I don't know if that's the exact level on the day that the incident happened, but let's just check this out. For scale, the Holtwood Dam is about 50 feet high. Now they go up. They already got them in the bag there, and up they go. Wow. Now the question is, once you get, oh, what was that? You see that thing you just shot off there? The question is, once you get up to, once you get up there, this is where I think it looks like it gets hard, because, the wind shear goes the whole way up, but then you have to get the actual person up and in, and that's that's a whole other bag of beans, right? There's a good shot right there. It gives you an idea. Right here again is right here, and off they go. You can see the the rotor wash from the helicopter looks like it's creating these concentric ripples there. You see that? So you got to think about like going down, into this area, flying a chopper, right? These things here, these are basically ginormous power lines that they crisscross all around this area. You can't really see them that well like here, but they're there. And of course, because this is a hydroelectric power plant. So imagine flying a chopper out into the gorge and then down to here, right? Who knows what the wind was like, right? They probably couldn't land because it's too rocky down there. And now we have a video that was actually taken from what looks like from the chopper itself. Here you're looking down, you can see looks like there's 4 or 5 people standing there. There's the little piece of the old construction bridge right there. Very rocky terrain, very uneven. And then it cuts to them. There he is, and he's got him up there. I'm assuming this is taken from the helmet cam of the guy who actually went down with the kit and went down and got the guy. And again, this has got to be the hard part here, right? So that gives you an idea of what it looked like seeing the chopper, and then also from the chopper itself. So the question is, what were these guys fighting about, right? And what happened to the other guy? As far as I can tell, my research, the other guy took off. And I haven't read anything since then. I think the police were doing an investigation. But what were they fighting? Were they people? Did they know each other? And they were talking, and they got into an argument. Things escalated, and it turned into a physical confrontation. And one of them got the worst of the beating, and the other one was like, "Well, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to take off." Did the person who delivered the beat down to the other person? Did they actually call and say, "Hey, I just beat up my friend in the middle of the river, and you might want to go get him"? Because then they got his phone number, they can trace that and everything. So I just wonder, what are the circumstances surrounding this event? It just seems really odd, or perhaps they didn't know each other. Perhaps it was 2 people wanting to fish the same spot. I can't imagine that you come down here, right? Come down on this thing, and this is, this little rocky portion here. Let's see. Right, from there to the tip here, that's 200 feet, right? 200 feet, right? It's about 200 feet to, you have the huge, a very large area here. So I don't think it was about, oh, you're fishing in my spot. It must have been now the question is, did they know each other or not? So I don't know. I hope the guy who went to the hospital, I hope he's okay. I hope they figured out what happened, and I hope that the rescue worker who apparently became exhausted due to the hike, because remember, some of the people came over from the York County side. I hope and they just were exhausted. Now I did a video here called I think it was called Holtwood Death March, and this was going back probably 4 years now, where I went out here on a very, very hot day. I made it to about here before I realized I was beginning to get overheated, and I exited. I realized after the fact that I should not have bothered going out. This area here is composed of huge blocks of the old construction bridge and also the schist bedrock. So this is all schist down here, which is kind of a dark rock. And if you go out here to explore in the summer, it's very, very interesting. I'm not telling anybody to go out here. You do see people out here fishing a lot. This whole area when the weather is nice is just a beautiful. It's very interesting from the geology and the topography. It's great for fishing. It's great for anything really, just exploring, right? But if you get a series of hot days, like 90, 95, 100 degree days. And then in the at nighttime, it doesn't get much below 85, right? I think what happened to me was I went there after there had been some very hot days, and this stuff just soaks up the heat, right? It contains the heat. So I'm thinking it was probably it was definitely in the 90s when I was there. And I look back now and I say, you know what? I think part of the reason I had a problem that day was because the rocks, because you're going over rocks, there's no trees. You're going over rocks and bedrock and rubble. We came up here. Remember, we saw there's all these vultures here. And then we wound up in the middle of Fry Island. Again, this is Fry Island here. This is Piney. And right about here is where I realized I need to get the hell out of here before I fall over from heat exhaustion. And part of the reason is because this area just gets so hot. So I would imagine if it was 95, if the air was 95 on that day, it was probably 105 down the rocks, because I think the rocks and the bedrock just add so much intense heat. And the water, I seem to remember the water was about 85 degrees. So you're out there on a day like that and you can't get relief. You can't get relief from there's no cold water. It's just unrelenting. So this EMS worker came across here. Now, I don't know, this was May, beginning of May. I'm not really sure what the temperature would have been, but even if it's 75, right? A nice hot, sunny 75 degree day in May will heat these rocks up. So, and you're climbing, you're going, I'll put a link up to one of those videos right now, the Holtwood Death March, or, there's other ones. The most recent one I went across is we came down here and we explored this area all around here into these, what I call the Black Lakes area here on Fry Island. And that was, I think that we did do that last summer. I'll put a link up to one of those right now. And then I'll put a link up to the other one right now. It was a two-parter. And we found this huge, giant wasp nest. There are some amazing mega potholes. Anyway, that'll give you a more recent idea. If you watch that video, if you watch the part 1 of that video, you will see exactly what it's like to go across this rubble road. And that's what happened to these guys. Apparently, they got in a fight. So again, shout out to all of the people who made this rescue happen. I'm sure the guy who got beat up and had to be taken out, I'm sure he's very, very, very grateful. Again, this happened on Thursday, May 14th, 2026. But I wonder what the rest of the story is. All right, I hope you had a good time. I will see you in the next video. Make sure you hit subscribe, ring that bell. Follow me on all the platforms. All right, this is Brett for TopoRanger, and I'll see you in the next one.